Hello viewers, SniperWolf1001 here with another video, along with some more Monster Hunter collectible content. Today we're going to take a look at another keychain pack, I guess to follow up on the previous one that I did where I covered the Iceborne Stained Mascot Collection Volume 2. This pack actually just recently came out a couple days ago, and this one actually isn't an Iceborne specific pack. This is actually a general Monster Hunter pack. As we take a look at the box here, this is actually supposed to be the Monster Hunter 15th Anniversary Stained Mascot Collection Icon Pack here. And I suppose this is supposed to be a lot of the flagship monsters from the various titles, which is pretty exciting. I'm pretty excited to kind of go through these, see what these keychains look like in person, because a lot of these flagship monsters are pretty cool. So a lot of them tend to be my favorite monsters in the series, so I'm pretty excited to jump through these. There are actually a few monsters in this pack that I'm not 100% familiar with, either because I didn't get far enough in the game that they were from, or I just didn't play the game that they were from in general. So if I do mention a monster that's incorrect, feel free to correct me in the comment section, because I'm just ignorant at that point. But taking a look at the box here, you can see that the box has a really nice artwork here on the front. A nice display of like a couple of the monsters here. Of course, we got Rathalos, and I believe that's supposed to be Rathalos' original monster icon from the series. Of course, we got Velkhana over here, and then we got Valstrax down there on the bottom left, and of course, Nergigante down there. Taking a look on the side here, we're gonna see, just like the other pack, we're gonna see the various keychains that come with this. So, of course, we're gonna have Zinogre, Valstrax, I believe this is Tigrex's older icon, Lagiacrus, Brachydios, Glavenus, and Nergigante. And then of course on this side here, this is where things get a little bit sketchy for me. So of course there's a keychain for the Monster Hunter 15th Anniversary, which is actually kind of cool. We get Rathalos' original, we get Nargacuga. This monster, I actually don't know who this is. I'm guessing that it might be Fatalis. You guys can correct me if I'm incorrect there, but I think it might be Fatalis, but I honestly have no idea. But we do have Velkhana right here, which is really cool. I'm actually pretty happy that this pack comes with Velkhana, because I missed out on the Volume 1 Iceborne collectible keychain pack. So it's nice that they provided it again in this pack here, because I really wanted that Velkhana keychain. This one here, I believe, is Gormagala, and I think this is Seregios here. I'm not familiar with these two monsters because I didn't really get to fight them, but yeah. So I guess without any further ado, I'm just going to open this up and then, of course, take a look at the various keychains here. So this is a box of 14 keychains, as you can see right here. The previous box that I did only had 10, so this definitely a step up from the previous pack. So as you can see, we have all of our various keychains here. So I guess we'll start one by one. So I guess I'll go for this one here. Of course, this is what all of the packaging, all of the smaller boxes are going to look like. So for our first monster, let's see what we have here. Ooh, okay, so starting strong, we have Valstrax. So let's jump into this. Now, Valstrax is a really cool monster. I'd really love to see him show up in Iceborne in an update sometime down the line. But just as the camera focuses here, we have Valstrax's icon, and I really love the way that this stained mascot icon looks. It's mainly for me, it's the color combination here, because there's a lot of whites, blacks, and reds, which those three colors blend really nicely together. I love the reds up here. Of course, there's a little bit of an offset here where you have like the blue eye for Valstrax, but then of course the silver, just like the other Stained Mascot collection, the silver shines very brightly. It's very shiny, very beautiful, and very reflective. I'm really liking Valstrax's icon. And then if you take a look at it here, you can almost see that, is it see-through? Yeah, you can, it's kind of opaque, but light kind of shines through that red section really nicely, which is pretty cool. A really nice little looking effect here. So that's the first one, starting off pretty strong with Valstrax. Let's see what we got for number 2. Alright, so for number 2 we have Glavenus. So Glavenus is a monster that I first got to experience him in Iceborne. I never actually fought him before in any of the other games. So the only Monster Hunter games I played were 3U. I played a little bit of 4, but I didn't really get very far in 4. So if any of these monsters were from 4, I'm not familiar because I didn't really get too far in that game. And of course, you know, World and Iceborne. But anyway, getting on to the icon here. Glavenus' icon, really cool. It's very different from a lot of the other Stained Mascot collections keychains here, just because the silver is actually very minimal on this. You see, there's actually there's like an abundance of blues. You see there's a lot of dark blue going around the edges, even like the little spikes that kind of go around the border here, looking really good. And then of course there's a bit of a color offset here on the tail. So on the bottom side it's like a dark blue, and then here it's more of like a purple color on the inside part here. And then of course we get the mixture between red and blue here on the main body. Of course Glavenus' head here, and then the horns up top. So definitely a cool looking keychain. Definitely really enjoy. I'm pretty happy to have this because Glavenus. I definitely have an appreciation for Glavenus now after playing Iceborne, which is pretty cool. So now jumping on to the next one. Let's see what we got here. Oh, okay. So we got Nargacuga. Now this is one thing that I was a little bit disappointed in, that I missed out on the first Iceborne collection, because I liked how they actually redid a lot of the monster icons. Nargacuga's redesign is actually one of my favorite redesigns. Of course, that's not to say that this design, Nargacuga's original icon, looks bad. I do like this, especially like the abundance of black here, kind of giving it that nice stealthy look, which is pretty cool. But I do prefer the style that they used for Nargacuga's Iceborne design. I think the icon looks a little bit better, but this icon's still looking really cool. Again, a lot of black here, and I like what they did with the little jagged edges, kind of showing off like the kind of spines on the tail there. Of course, I like this little break in the tail where you have this little red section, which then goes out to the sharp point there. Of course, some yellow in there, and of course like kind of orangey color there. Pretty cool looking overall. This one not super shiny. Of course, like the silver is pretty shiny, but again, very similar to Glavenus, where there's not a big abundance of silver compared to the previous Stained Mascot collection. So on to the next one. Okay, and the next one is Lagiacrus. Now, of course, because 3U was actually the Monster Hunter game that I played the most, I'm not sure if I'm close in hours with Iceborne now, but Lagiacrus was definitely a really cool monster from 3U. I really wish that he was able to make an appearance in World. He originally was supposed to, but I guess because, you know, they didn't bring back water mechanics, it would be kind of silly. I really kind of preferred that. Like, if I wouldn't want Lagiacrus to turn into like a Giratotus situation. So, but again, looking at his icon here, looking really cool. Again, I love the mixture of colors here, and like if I just move my hand out of the way, you can actually see that these colors a lot like Valstrax's reds on his keychain. You can see that these blues, when light hits it, it kind of glows very nicely. It's very opaque, but like light can kind of pierce through it a little bit, which is really nice. You can just see those beautiful blues, how they go around the top section of the body here, kind of snaking around this Leviathan's body. Of course, like I like the blend of colors between the blue and the. It's almost kind of like it's not really yellow. It's more like a brown color here, kind of like a pastel brown that they use for like the underside of his body. And of course, I like the little spike here. And again, light kind of pierces through that little section there as well, with the little spikes down there on that part of the body, which is pretty cool looking. I'm really liking the Lagiacrus keychain here. I think the blues are definitely what do it for me on this. So on to the next one. Okay, so the next one we have Brachydios. Of course, Brachydios' original icon. Of course, I'm very familiar with this. I fought Brachydios a lot in 3U. So, here we go. Brachydios' original icon in all of its glory. Very cool design, how they decided to do more of like a close-up. You can see a very nice close-up of Brachydios' front section. You see his face, you see the 2 pounders there, and of course the pounder on his head. And I really like what they did with the slime on the pounder, because you see, right as I remove my hand, you can see as soon as light touches those green sections, they glow very brightly, which is really nice. Even on the head, the pounder on the head, they glow really nicely, which is really cool. Again, very opaque, but light pierces through it very nicely to give it that nice glowing effect. And I actually brought down a few of my other ones from my previous pack just to make a bit of a comparison. So you can see here, just as I compare the updated icon to its original icon. So, just as the camera focuses here, so of course we have Brachydios' original icon and then his updated one. I definitely prefer the updated one a lot better, because I like how it shows more of his body. I like the spikes that kind of goes down the back of the body, like down the border of the keychain, which is really nice. And then the thing that's cool is how they kind of kept the same, they kept the same design with the pounder here. I like how as soon as light hits it, it glows very brightly. When you look at it, sometimes it actually kind of looks like there's slime inside there, which is actually pretty cool. It's a really nice detail that they have here for this keychain. And this is actually something I didn't notice the first time, but these blue sections here on this version of Brachydios, these little blue sections actually glow as well too. You can actually see that light kind of pierces through those opaque sections as well too, which is actually pretty cool. I never noticed that until just now. But again, pretty cool having these two, the original and the redesign. Now on to the next one. So the next one, I believe this is supposed to be Rathalos. So this one's kind of interesting, because I feel that there's, because I feel like this is supposed to be more of a red, but I feel like the colors, at the very least, like when there's nothing behind it, like how my hand is behind the icon right now, this looks kind of like a deep red. But then as soon as light hits it, I feel it kind of turns more into like a magenta or kind of close to pink or like a cherry kind of color. But, again, icon looking pretty interesting. I like how they have, like, the black spikes, black spikes going down the back as well, too. I do kind of prefer Rathalos' newer design over his, over this design for his icon, for sure. You might be able to see what I mean here if I remove my hand. Like, you can see that when light starts hitting these sections, it becomes more of, like, a pinkish kind of deal. And then these spikes actually look green. That's actually kind of interesting, huh? So, yeah, these actually aren't black. Yeah, these spines are actually supposed to be green here. So as soon as light hits it, then it kind of lights up that nice green color, which is pretty cool. Very nice looking. And just as a comparison, I brought my Silver Rathalos one down here. So, just comparing new design to old design. I really like the way that they did Rathalos' new design over his older design in the icon pack, just because I feel like the way that they modeled the face definitely looks a lot closer to Rathalos, and I just like the pose a little bit better. I feel like it shows off. It's very similar to this pose. It's actually kind of like the same pose, but I like how, you know, you see more of the wings here. The head in like the top section is a lot bigger, and then the tail, I like how the tail is kind of pulled back a little bit more on this one. So I definitely prefer the redesign on Rathalos over his original design here. But that's not to say that this is bad. This is still a very nice looking design, for sure. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, so I believe this is supposed to be Gormagala. So, like I mentioned before, I'm not familiar with Gormagala. I've never fought Gormagala before. I don't know anything about Gormagala. So, I'm really just going to take his keychain at face value here. Again, Pretty interesting keychain. There is a lot of black here. The black kind of... Actually, this is more of a gray. But the gray definitely overpowers the silver on this. I do kind of like how there's this blue... Like, there's a bunch of these little blue sections here. Going down the... I guess it's supposed to be like this, the kind of skeleton of the wing, of his wing here, which is pretty nice. I like kind of beads down like that. Pretty cool looking design, but definitely a lot of gray on here. There's a little bit of dark reds around here as well too. But yeah, it is a cool looking keychain design here. All right, so now to the next set. All right, we got Zinogre. Hell yeah. So, just opening this up real quick. Now this is the design of Zinogre that I'm very familiar with because I fought Zinogre a lot in 3U. And that's actually where he became my favorite monster in the series. But, here we go. Zinogre's icon. Looking very cool. I always thought this was kind of an interesting design back then in 3U where I honestly thought this was supposed to be like an upside down like question mark, or like it was almost like a beard, but you know, like his design pretty interesting. There's definitely a lot of yellow or a lot of gold on here, a lot more than his redesign of the icon for sure. So you can see there's a bit of like a glowy yellow spot up here. If I move my hand away, you can see that these spots, these sections here, up here glow really nicely. Up here, even these little smaller sections going down at the border, even here just underneath the head, looking really good. I like the color blend here. Of course, there's a lot of gold going down. Of course, we have like that dark green looking really good, and then the mix with this kind of bright blue. You can get a nice little image of Zinogre's head right here, which is pretty cool. A nice looking design. And of course I brought down my Iceborne version of Zinogre's icon. So you can just see the comparison here between the differences of the two different icons here. You can see that there's definitely a lot more detail going on in the redesigned icon. You can just see like the very many sections or segments or spikes going down his tail, all of these little triangular parts going all the way down its body, down through the mane and whatnot, even like the green parts up in there. Very cool looking. I think his head, I like the head design on the new one a little bit better because I think it's a lot closer to how he actually looks, especially when you look at the golden part of his lower jaw here, because you can see how jagged it is, especially with how the bottom part kind of spikes out at the bottom there as well too. Very, very cool looking. They definitely did a really good job of redesigning a lot of these icons for sure. But, and again, something I didn't notice before was that these little blue parts glow as well too as soon as light hits it. But I definitely do like both of these designs a lot. Very cool looking. So I'm pretty happy to get both versions of Zinogre now. So on to the next box. So with this one we get Mystery Dragon. I really don't know what monster this is. If anyone can tell me what monster this is, that would be cool. I'm thinking, I tried to do as much research as I could, but I couldn't really find anything conclusive on this. I think this is supposed to be a Fatalis. I don't know. But I think for now, since I don't really know what it is, I'm just going to call it Mystery Dragon. So with Mystery Dragon's icon here, he's looking pretty cool. Again, very similar to Gore Magala, where there's a lot of dark gray. The dark gray kind of overpowers a lot of the silver, although there is more silver on this than there is on the Gore Magala one. There is a lot less color on Mystery Dragon's keychain here compared to Gore Magala, though. There is kind of like a glowing effect here with these sections that kind of bead down through the wing, which this is almost kind of like a faint like amber color. But I do like how the blue eye here offsets a lot of the gray on this. It's the blue eye there actually does look really good, how it kind of just contrasts everything nicely. But yeah, That's Mystery Dragon. Again, another cool looking icon. So, on to the next one. So we got 4 more left after this, so we're almost done. Alright, so next one is the Monster Hunter 15th Anniversary Keychain. Again, there's not really going to be too much to talk about on this. Again, pretty to the point. Monster Hunter 15th Anniversary. Just as the camera focuses there. Pretty nice to just hang up somewhere, I guess, like if you have a collection of Monster Hunter stuff, just to put it up somewhere. Pretty cool. And again, I do like the fact that the 1 and the 5 have that glowing effect as well too. There as well too. It has a bit of like an opaque design, which is pretty sweet. Also, I didn't notice this before, but there's like an eye here. I don't know if this is supposed to be a certain type of monster, but again, if you guys want to like clarify on that for me, if that's supposed to be something, I don't really know. But yeah, 15th anniversary. So on to the next box. Oh yeah, we got Nergigante. This is something I really wanted to. I really wanted to get a keychain of Nergigante as well too, especially since I'm going to be getting the Nergigante model come April. So my idea is that for the models that I have, I actually want to put these keychains down right in front of them, so you can have both the icon and the model to look at. So I think that'd be really cool. And Nergigante's icon is looking so cool. I love how they did it. The pose was perfect. How they just had him just looking directly towards you. So you get like a nice silhouette here. You see all of the various spikes going all around the border here. Even as you go down, you see more of the spikes on the inner side. His horns are very visible here, and I like what they did here with the little triangles that kind of show the shape of it there as well too. You get a good picture of his face here. You see his eyes there, the teeth, and everything. Very nice looking, very cool looking icon for sure. And then if I move my hand away, you can actually see that there are gaps here. So there's sections where light can shine through very nicely. But yeah, again, very shiny as well too. Very happy that I got this Nergigante one. So on to the next one. We got T-Rex. So this is another thing too where I kind of wish that I got the original, the volume 2, because I prefer T-Rex's icon design a lot more than this design. I think that like this design's okay. For me personally, like I'm not a huge fan of this design, just because I think the way that the face is designed is a little weird. But the thing that I kind of understand with it is that it's supposed to be kind of like a drawing almost, like kind of like caveman drawing or something like that, like on a wall where they kind of describe the monster's visual features or whatever. So I kind of understand that, but I don't know, like this design doesn't really appeal to me all that much. But taking a look at the glowing effect here, you can see that a lot of this is very opaque. So a lot of light will go through this a lot as well too. A lot of different colors here. You can see a lot of yellows and blues, a lot of reds here, and then like a different kind of vanilla or kind of cream color down here right at the lower jaw. Pretty interesting design. I may actually put that T-Rex keychain right underneath my T-Rex model that I got. But on to the next one. We're almost done. And here we got Velkhana. So this is the one that I think I wanted the most from this pack. I really wanted to get my Velkhana one so I could put it in front of my Velkhana statue. So here we go with Velkhana. And this is a really cool looking keychain. Just because there's so much detail on this. Like I love all of like the different little sections here. You can see whether this be like ice or like parts of the wing. Kind of like blowing in the wind or whatever. You have like, I think this is supposed to be like an ice or like a snow effect up here too. But then of course you get Velkhana's face with the little ice shards on the top of him, on the top of his I guess his mouth, or on the top of his head rather. Very cool looking. There's actually some subtle color differences here, and I also really love the way that these colors blend with the silver. You know, there are some faint blues in here. You can see that there's some blue lines down here, and of course the whites. I love the way that the white and the blue blend with the silver. It actually looks really good, and of course when it shines very brightly, very nicely in the light there, looking really good. If there are any see-through sections here, you can see closer to the head, and just underneath it, some of the blue there, you can kind of shine, like light kind of shines through, even through these sections here, light kind of shines through this. So this one, I'm really loving the design on this. This is probably my favorite of this pack so far. So now we're finally on to the last one, which this one should be Seregios. So here we go. Again, Seregios, a monster that I'm not familiar with. Again, just like Gormagala, I haven't fought it, and I haven't really looked up anything on Seregios, so I don't really know much about this monster. But just based off of its icon, it does look pretty cool. I like the color combination that they have here. A lot of reds and oranges mixing with yellow. Looking really good. I'm guessing that this is like a fire type monster just based off of the color aesthetic, the paint scheme. Of course, we have like the little blue eye there to kind of offset everything nicely. Of course, like in the light here, it's gonna shine very beautifully. We got some blacks here at the bottom for like the claws, the end of the tail there, and I think this is supposed to be like the wing, so this should be like the end of the wing, so there's like two black spikes there. Looking pretty cool. Now, for a light pass-through, you can see that a lot of the yellow sections, the main yellow sections, are opaque, so light can actually go through it a little bit. So you can see that it kind of glows pretty nicely there as well, too. Alright, so that actually covers all of them so far. So that's all of the keychains from this 15th anniversary pack. So just as a little bit of a long view here, just showing as much as I can of all of them. So these are all of the keychains that come in the pack, in the 15th anniversary keychain stain mascot collection pack here. I guess if I decided to do the same thing that I did with the Iceborne pack, if I had to pick my 3 favorite, I think this is going to be a lot quicker than before, because I already know what my 3 are here. So my 3 favorite are definitely going to be Valstrax, Nergigante, and Velkhana. These 3 stand out to me the most out of all of the keychains here. I do really like Brachydios' original, especially with how brightly the slime parts on the pounders glow. But these 3, just in terms of detail on the keychains and the color design, I do like these 3 the most out of the 14. These are very beautiful. And on top of that, too, these monsters are very significant to me as well, too. I love Velkhana as a monster. I love Nergigante lore-wise. Very strong monster, really cool. And Valstrax is just a really cool monster. Like, who thought of putting jet engines on a dragon? Like, really? That's just absurd, but he's just so badass for that. But with all of that, that's actually going to bring this review to a close. I do apologize for the length of it. I did kind of get kind of talky in this one, but, you know, this is pretty much everything that comes with this pack here. Some really nice keychains. There's definitely a lot of stuff I want to do with this. So, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative. There's definitely going to be a lot more Monster Hunter stuff coming in the future. Of course, the Nergigante model, I'm going to be covering that when that comes out. And of course, there's more stuff with Gold Rathian, Silver Rathalos, and Stygian Zinogre that's going to be coming pretty soon. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. But with all that said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you guys have a nice day or nice night, depending on where you are. And I'll see you all later.